one of the things I loved about the book is that even early on, you talked about water, right? And you dedicated a chapter to it, and you broke down this difference that many people don't know about between, people know water is water, it's just H2O, right? But you talk about soft water and hard water. And I was hoping you could break that down a little bit again, because people don't really consider water as these different things. And what's the difference between soft and hard water as it relates to magnesium?
So basically, all the water that we consume in the United States is soft water, whereas most of the water consumed in Europe is hard water. So that would be your natural mineral waters, your spring waters that are coming either from, mountains or underground sources of water. It would always have had magnesium in it. But we basically filter that all out with tap water, and now we don't get any. And typically, a typical European can get 100 to 150 milligrams of magnesium per day just from the water they drink. And so in the United States, we're only consuming maybe 250. So they're getting half of the magnesium we eat just from the water they consume.
Yeah, you make that really good point that, everyone looks at food for their magnesiums or supplementation, whatever it may be. But water is this, magnificent thing that we're consumed that we are so much made up of that we do improperly in many ways because of that, depletion of it in what we drink in soft water. And I found it really interesting also that the out cause of making it soft made it acidic. And therefore, as it goes through the pipes, you may leach out that, the heavy metals that are in there, the cadmium and others. Do you feel like why did we do that, number one? I know you wrote a little bit about we don't like scaling on things, we don't like washing things and getting a little bit of mineralization on it. Is that like the main reason that we moved to a soft water system?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, when you have a hard water with that has good amounts of calcium and magnesium, well, it'll calcify the cooking materials, right? You run that
Hmm.
through the coffee machine, it can mess it up a little bit. So it was to avoid that basically scaling on our basically cooking utensils. But at the same time, then we removed all the minerals that we would typically have gotten from that. And there's this good correlation between countries that have harder water with less heart disease, but also even within the United States. As you move east to west and the water becomes more hard, the risk of cardiovascular disease and other diseases goes down. So it is interesting that if you live in an area that has naturally higher magnesium content in the water, there is lower rates of cardiovascular disease in those areas.
And you even bring up this idea of what you cook with the water, whether it's soft or hard, is also going to then go into the foods, right? Your pastas, your rice, everything that sucks in a lot of those nutrients. So even that is a benefit in you utilizing hard water with magnesium, correct?
Right. And so minerals are different than vitamins, whereby if you cook rice in water, you're going to lose basically all the B1, the B2, the B vitamins get destroyed by heat, but minerals do not. So the magnesium will stay in the cooking water, all the minerals in there will stay. And so in Europe, they're cooking with hard water too. So they're getting water not just through, consuming it in a glass, let's say, or a naturally bottled mineral water, but they're also getting it exactly through the foods absorbing the water and cooking in that type of kind of harder water.
If someone were listening and they're like, well, I don't drink tap water, right? I have a filter, but that filter doesn't have any remineralization portion. Would you say seek that out if you're doing a whole filtration system?
I would say it's probably just easier to take a magnesium supplement. I mean, you
Yeah.
can, if you want to try to remineralize the water, there are certain products too that you can add to the water, but typically it tastes a little bit bitter. Magnesium is just a
Mm.
molecule in water. So just a capsule that you don't have to kind of deal with the taste, the metallic taste of magnesium is probably an easier way to go about it.
And you said the Europeans, they drink a lot of the bottled water that has magnesium and is a harder water. What are some of your favorite ones that you drink?
Yeah, well, the highest magnesium waters, one would be Magnesia. The
Mm,
other would be Gerolsteiner. Gerolsteiner is very,
favorite.
yeah, it's great. It's very carbonated though, so people
Hmm.
just gotta be a little careful how much you consume at once, or if
Yeah.
you're consuming it with food. But it's still a great one. I mean, even Mountain Valley spring water, it's not a ton of magnesium, but there's some in there. There's some calcium. It's I think consuming water from a glass container too is very important to decrease your
Yes.
plastics as well. So
Yeah, no, I think between like Gerolsteiner, San Pellegrino, you could say, Mountain Valley, those are in the, heavy glass bottles and everything that some people don't like, but there's a huge benefit to that. And then you do have that ascent, the addition of those minerals that are already in there.